one of the things that's helped to make it a better experience certainly is the new facility that you have that you just opened a few months ago here in Hernando County, the health care center, or the care center you refer to it as. Tell us about the property here in Hernando County that's located on Cortez Boulevard West.
Right. We call it our campus now.
Yeah.
We have 3 buildings on that property now. We have the office that's been there for 10 years, and then we opened a hospice house, which is an 8-bed facility, and it's for our families that have the last few months, I'd say, of a loved one's life. It could be maybe a live alone that can no longer care for themselves during those last few months, or for a family that it's just the burden is too much towards the end, because as you know, most of them are elderly, and that might be difficult. So that's an 8-bed, and then the board of directors could see the need for what we call our care center, and it's brand new, it's beautiful, and it's a 24-bed facility, and it is for patients that are towards the very end of their life, or have maybe symptoms that are out of control that could be better controlled in a setting such as that, where the doctor is seeing them daily and the nurses. So it's a shorter
it's a short-term medical crisis.
And it's how many beds in that?
24.
24 beds.
And each room is so that the families can stay there too. They have couches that open into bed, so if they need to be there with their loved one at that time, they can.
And it is a beautiful facility. I visited somebody there recently, and it is a very pleasant environment, very comfortable, and just it's perfect for the family to be able to be comfortable and spend time with their loved ones. In fact, we might be able to talk Rick into showing some footage of the ribbon cutting that you had in March, and the tour that you took people through the facility, so people could see what it looked like.
I'm even impressed. I mean, the organization, after 17 years, I keep thinking we can't do better, and we do. And it's really, it's when the board sees a need for a community, they go above and beyond to do for their community. And
it's very much like the facility in Pasco County, isn't it? Because I've been in that facility too a few years ago, and it looked very similar in the way it was laid out.
Center. Yes.
Rose, tell us about the funding for hospice. How do you get the funding to be able to provide the services that you do?
We do bill Medicare, Medicaid. Many insurances pay hospice now. We don't refuse admission to anyone because of their ability to pay or not to pay. And our community is wonderful in supporting us with donations.
So you get a lot of donations from people maybe who have passed on and they want to give some of their money, a memorial or whatever, to the organization.
Many patients, in lieu of flowers, ask their families and friends to donate to HPH Hospice also.
Okay. So that's how it's a nonprofit organization, and that's how you are able to provide the funding, is just through Medicare and through donations.
Right. And Medicaid and insurance, yes.
Medicaid and insurance, okay. Tell us about some of the programs that hospice has. I know I was reading recently about a children's bereavement program that you have. Tell us about that.
We have several different facets of our children's bereavement program. Recently we had a summer camp for younger kids. We also have a summer camp for teenagers. The camp for the younger children focuses on art therapy, fun things for them, but helps them to see that there's other kids in the same spot that they're in, and how those kids are grieving also.
So you have counselors that work with the kids at those camps?
Yes, they're our counselors and volunteers. We couldn't do it without our volunteers, because there's many children, and you need many, many hands to help.
How many kids are you able to take through that summer camp each year?
I really don't know.
Is it located here? The camp, does it take place here?
The weekend camp is in Lakewood Retreat, and so that's the weekend. That's only junior high school.
Okay.
And so that's a weekend. The ones that are going on now are for the younger kids in their day camps, and they're in all the counties. Ours is going to be held out at Glen Lakes.
Okay. So it's
for our
just a
kids.
daily,
For
they
the
don't spend the
younger
night,
kids,
it's just
just
an
the day.
everyday
Right.
thing for like a
Right.
week or something?
No, just
Yeah,
one
just
day.
one
Oh,
day.
it's just one day, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
The children's program is much more than just the camps. It's going on year round, and there's a lot of counseling for any of the children that have lost a loved one. So if they've lost a grandma or grandpa, or unfortunately mothers and fathers. So
Well,
we
that's
do
a great
have children.
service. I think that a lot of people don't realize is available to them.
Right.
You know, if a child has lost a grandparent or a mother or a father or a sister or a brother, that you
Right.
have trained counselors that can help them through that situation.
Right.
Yes.
And the parents don't have to go through that alone with
Right.
them.
A lot of people think of the children, that we only service children that are dying, and that's not what we just do with our children's program. Of
We do
course.
that, but we
Yes.
also do
Sure.
the additional support.
Well, and you do that with the whole program. I mean, you really provide services to the whole family, not just to the,
Right.
the person who has the terminal illness, but you help the whole family through whatever issues they might have. That's what makes you such a special organization, is because you do
Yeah,
help
it's
the
that
whole
nice
family.
team approach that we
Right.
have a lot of people that can go in and make that a quality time for them. Take a lot of the, like you say, burdens off of them, that they don't have to be worrying about, oh, did I order the medications to get? Do I have all the equipment I need for my loved one? You know, what do I do for, how do I change a dressing or something? We do all those things so that they can spend their time, the quality, with their loved one.
And
Our
probably, go ahead.
I'm sorry, our volunteers also have a couple of special programs where they have the legacy program for our patients, where they go in and help our patient video a history or a farewell message, whatever they really want to video to leave for their families. We have some lists of questions that they can use if they'd like, or if they have their own agenda. That's wonderful, but sometimes they don't know where to start. So that's a
good
wonderful
idea.
program that grandparents can leave for their kids, parents can leave for their kids. We also have Compassionate Paws, where animals that have been trained and certified go to patients' homes, go to our facilities to see our patients, go to local nursing homes to see our hospice patients, our ALFs.
That's
So
great
it's a nice
therapy.
program.
We all know
Yes.
that animals
Yes.
provide great therapy for people who are sick or terminally ill. So that's a great idea. Is that something fairly new, or have you been doing that for quite a while?
The past couple years,
Yeah.
I would say.
How do you come by the animals? Do you just do
They're the
people-
volunteers' animals.
Oh, they're the volunteers.
Yes.
They have to go
That's
through a
nice.
training to get their animal certified, and then they have to be trained as a volunteer also, and then they go out.
Okay. We talked about the bereavement program for children, but that service is available for anybody. You have a
Right.
special program for
Right.
family members
We
to
have-
go through after they've lost their loved one, right?
Correct. We have if the child is not a hospice patient's family, we would make the initial contact and then help them find either a group that we have or something available in the community. And also we have information for parents to help guide them through what's happening.
But you're
and know
right
how to
also
respond.
with our families, bereavement for the husband or bereavement for the wife afterwards. We follow up for like a year, and that can either be one-on-one counseling with our bereavement counselor, or we have groups, and we have two different types of group: an 8-week kind of education group, and then a long-term group. And so we do not only our immediate families that we've serviced, but it is open to the community, our groups, to go through, and that is, of course, at no charge too.
So anyone who's lost anyone, whether they were a hospice
Right.
patient or not, they can be a part of that
Yes.
bereavement program.
Right.
I know on one of our recent shows we talked with a lady who had been through that program, and she talked about how much it helped her, get through that difficult time, and then she became one of your best volunteers.
Yes. Yes. She's
And that's
wonderful.
often the case.
Yes.
Right.
They want to give back then, and they want to
Yes.
help other people. That's what it's
Yes.
all about.
Yeah.
That's what makes it such a special program.